Hi you guys, welcome to my free 3-part video series on helping your boy overcome aggressive behaviors. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tosha Schore. I am the founder of Your Partner in Parenting, a coaching business where I support parents to help their young boys thrive and help you also thrive as parents. I'm also the co-author of a book called Listen, 5 Simple Tools to Meet Your Everyday Parenting Challenges. And I co-authored that book with my mentor, Patty Whitfler, who is the founder of an organization called Hand in Hand Parenting, an amazing organization based in California in the United States. And I'm also the founder of Parenting Boys Peacefully, a 10-day reconnect. And that is really been a wildly successful program where I offer you 10 days of support in rebuilding a really close connection with your boy and getting you again on your way to parenting him peacefully and helping him overcome behaviors that just aren't serving him well. Okay, so the problem as I see it is this. We've got little boys who are maybe hitting, maybe kicking, maybe biting, spitting, scratching, grabbing. Maybe they're yelling at us and talking in a really loud voice. Whatever it is that they're doing, we see that these behaviors aren't serving them well. We see that they're struggling. We feel like we're struggling too with it. And we want to help them, right? We're smart to know that we need to stop these behaviors. These behaviors aren't working. But the problem lies in how we go about doing that. So the deal is that most of us have only ever seen anybody stop aggressive behaviors harshly. So, you know, this is our model that we have. And for many of us, we were treated harshly as kids, so that's just sort of a double whammy, right? We don't have any other model. We don't know what else to do. So we do the best we can, and the best we can when we're triggered in a situation, like for example, we're at a toy store and our boy says, you know, Daddy, can I please have this Lego set that only cost, you know, $100 or something? And Daddy says, no, baby, not today. Or no, ma'am, that's really expensive. So maybe you could pick something that's, you know, 20 bucks or something like that. What happens then is the boy, you know, maybe yells or maybe gives a kick or maybe gives a hit or spits or says, I don't, you know, you never get me anything, or I hate you, or something like that. And what happens is that Dad gets triggered, right? Or mom, whoever it is. We get triggered and we react harshly because that's the model that we've seen, whether it was done to us or whether it's just what we've seen other people do. And there are a few problems here. I mean, we know one problem here is that we feel crappy about our behavior, right? We never as parents want to be behaving harshly towards our boys. And when that happens, we feel badly afterwards. You know, we don't know what to do. Like, do we apologize? Or, you know, we're supposed to be the adult here and here we are acting like a 2-year-old. You know, we feel badly about it. So that's one problem. And then another problem is that when we behave in this way, when we behave harshly, so harshly might mean yelling, harshly might mean saying, you know, you're on a timeout right now. You come out when you feel like you can act appropriately. Or, you know, behaving harshly towards them might be, you know what, I've told you 3 times already that you are not allowed to hit your sister, and so you are not going to have any electronic time for the rest of this week, right? We punish, for example. So there are lots of things that we do, and we don't do it because we're bad parents, we do it because we're desperate. We are dying to get these behaviors to stop, both because we know they're not serving our boys well, and also because they're incredibly frustrating for us. And when our boys behave this way, especially in public, we feel incredibly embarrassed, we feel ashamed, we often feel like we've done something wrong as a parent, that our child is in this situation, that he behaves this way. So, you know, these feelings are fueling us, and like all we can do is react. So in addition to the problem of us feeling badly when we behave harshly in response to our boys' aggressive behaviors, the other big problem is that we're ultimately not helping them overcome those behaviors. In other words, they act aggressively, we respond harshly, and then an hour later it's same, or tomorrow it's same, or next week or next month. It's like over and over and over again. So what I want to teach you in this first video is what I see as the first step towards helping your boy overcome aggressive behaviors. And that first step starts with getting yourself, and I include myself here, getting myself into good parenting shape. Before we get into the lesson for today, I want to tell you a little bit about my own story. And I thought, just because this is the first video of the series and some of you may not have any idea who I am, I thought I would read to you the foreword that I wrote for my book Listen that I mentioned a moment ago. So let me just read to you what I wrote so you get a sense of who I am. I was born Heather Megan Schore, named after the beautiful purple ground cover that coated our neighborhood hills. My memories of my early years are sweet, full of rope swings, picking wild berries, sitting on the beanbag in front of the fire, and pouring salt on those pesky slugs, insistent on eating our beautiful garden vegetables. When I was 5, my parents divorced, and the house I loved was sold. My dad moved out of state, and my mom and I moved far, far away from all of my friends. I became a very angry girl. I hated my dad. I was furious at my mom. I changed my name to Tosha. I switched schools 3 times in kindergarten, and I spent most of first grade in the principal's office. Fortunately, I had a mom who never lost sight of my goodness. She remained my advocate even when I kicked and screamed and got into trouble at school. She kept herself in good emotional shape so she could listen to me rage without taking it personally or losing her cool. Mom was my rock. Now I'm the mom. I have a husband and 3 boys of my own, each with their own challenges. Becoming a parent is hands down the best decision I ever made. I love being a mom, but it has not always been easy. By the time my second son was born, I started reacting to everyday challenges more harshly than I wanted to. It left me feeling badly. I knew I needed help. I wanted to know what I could do when my 2-year-old went back to nursing every 2 hours at night while I had to get up for work in the morning. I wanted to know how I could say no without yelling. I wanted to really enjoy my time with my kids because I knew that sooner than I would be ready, they would grow up. My mom said, "Call Patty Whipfler. She's local and she does amazing work with families." So I picked up the phone and I called her. A week later, I began attending Patty's 2-hour parent support group, and it turned out to be just what I needed. We were a small group who would sneak away from our busy lives as mothers, partners, and workers and gift ourselves 2 hours of connection. In that room, we were unconditionally loved and accepted. We were offered a safe space to cry and shake and rage about our children and the injustices we faced as parents. And we shared the joy of our successes with each other, knowing the whole room was rooting for us. We were never once judged. Over a decade has passed since that first meeting. My kids are still very much works in progress. They are now 9, 11, and 13 years old. Well, actually, they're now a year older than that. I'm still right here in the trenches using the effective listening tools you'll learn about in this book day in and day out. And by the way, these are tools that I'm going to be teaching you, throughout these videos. I use these tools all the time. When things get tough, and boy do they, even my teenager knows I'm here for him. And I've seen over and over again that when he needs me, he comes for help. I shudder to think what shape my family would be in without my regular listening partnerships, which have given me the courage to listen to my boys' tears and tantrums, to connect with them deeply, to set limits firmly but lovingly, and to play wildly. So let's dive in. I know you're here because you're wanting to help your boy shift behaviors that aren't working for him, but there is no skipping over taking care of ourselves, okay? The first step towards helping your boy is by helping yourself. So I want to today give you 3 tips, 3 things that you can actually start doing that will help you get to a better place so that it'll be easier for you to help him with his struggles. So the first thing that I'd suggest you start doing is appreciating yourself for what you do well, okay? So I'm just laughing because I was just thinking, I have a friend who had a birthday last weekend, and another friend who was feeling really badly that she had forgotten the other friend's birthday. And I thought to myself, well, that's weird. She didn't even remind us. And I realized that I've really gotten myself into a habit of asking for what I need. And that's something that I can really appreciate about myself as a mom. In other words, I don't just expect my boys to say, oh, Mom, you're a great mom, you're awesome, you do everything for us. No, but you know what? On my birthday every year, I do ask that they write me a little note and they just list 3 things, at least. They can add more if they want, that they appreciate about me as their mom. So these appreciations fuel me. So I ask them of other people, but I also do it for myself. So at night, I'll sit with a journal and I'll just say, or not say, but write 3 things that I appreciate about myself as a parent. And if you try this, you'll see that you start feeling better about yourself. So, I appreciate that I ask for what I want. I appreciate that I never lose sight of the goodness of my boys, even though their behaviors might be like crappy as hell. Like, I still know that good, sweet boy is in there and I am hell-bent to find him. I am determined. So I appreciate those 2 things about myself, and let's see if I can think of 3 things. One more thing. It's hard. I appreciate that I have a sense of humor, that I don't take things too seriously. So those are 3 things I appreciate about myself as a parent. And even just saying them right now makes me feel better, because sometimes I stand up here and I think, well, gosh, who am I to be teaching them? I have my own struggles. My boys have their struggles. We don't have a perfect family. How can I be teaching these thousands of other parents how to do things? And my confidence wanes. And if I can just stand up here and say, hey, these are 3 things I'm really good at, that's great. I don't have to be good at everything. It builds my confidence again. It helps me feel just better. It helps me feel better and gives me more power and energy to be able to get in there with my boys and help them with, when and where they need me. So that's one thing that I would suggest that you try. Really practical, simple. You can start doing it today. The second thing is to try to appreciate another parent. Now, there is something that's really, really unfortunate that happens with us parents, and that is that we generally pit ourselves against one another. So we're often very critical of one another. We're critical of the other mom or the other dad, or of our parents when our kids are with them. We're often, finding little things to criticize about how other parents are doing things, or grandparents, or whoever. And, it's not that everybody else is doing things perfectly and they're not making mistakes, but it doesn't really serve us well to point those things out, because what it does is divide us. And we are going to be so much stronger and have so much more confidence as parents if we band together. Right? How many of you have been in a situation where you've been in a public place like a supermarket and your child's having a tantrum and you feel completely judged by all the passers-by? Well, imagine if somebody stopped and said, hey, you need a hand, can I help you? Or even just sort of said, hey, I have so been there, you're doing great. Or something like that. It doesn't matter, I don't have a script for you. But you see what I mean? That parent is there feeling like crap, feeling like they're a horrible parent, and feeling like they're being judged by everybody who walks by. And then you break that isolation for them by patting them on the shoulder or saying a kind word. Those things are small, but they are huge. I mean, they're small for us to do, but on the receiving end, they are huge. So I really want to encourage you to help with the bigger picture of getting us to band together as parents, rather than to criticize one another and break ourselves apart and isolate ourselves in our little house or our little apartment or our little whatever it is. Okay? So that's second step. Again, something that you can do today when you're out and about. I can assure you, you're going to see some parent with some freaking out kid who you can offer a word of support to. I have no doubt. Okay? And the third thing that I would suggest that you do is find a community that is supportive. Okay? We need community. We are social creatures. We are social beings. We need one another to thrive. You know, people who are isolated, as I talked about it a moment ago, again, this isolation, people who are isolated don't function as well. They're not as happy, and we just don't function as well. So because unfortunately most of us live in societies that are not very community oriented, most of them are very individualistic, we have to do a fair amount of work to find community. So I want to encourage you to make that a priority, because it is going to have a huge positive effect on your ability to parent peacefully and to parent in a way that you feel proud about. So, or proud of, I guess we say. So, you know, there are different things you can do. You can find a community locally. You might look up a meetup. Sometimes there are meetups of local parents that are really supportive. You might find people who just have a very similar philosophy to you. They don't have to do things exactly the same way that you do, but they just can't be critical of you and you of them. Instead, you can be supportive of one another and the choices that you make as parents. There are online communities like, I think it's called Peaceful Parenting Community or something, that One Awesome Dad runs. And it's great. I mean, you can get on there and there's literally thousands of parents on there asking questions and trying to figure out how to do this peaceful parenting thing. And there is a sense of community that's happening in there. So there are online groups, there are real life groups. You might find it with a group of parents in your school, with a group of parents in your neighborhood, in a faith-based organization. I don't know, I don't care where you find it, but please find it, because this parenting job is work, man. It is hard work. None of us were cut out to do this alone. None of us were. So give yourself a gift and find others who are on the same path and band together, support one another, okay? It's gonna make a world of difference in how you feel as a parent. And as you boost your parenting confidence, you are going to be much better equipped to help your boy overcome those unworkable behaviors. I want to thank you for taking the time to be with me here today and watch this video. I know it's not a given. I know you have many children and work issues and life issues vying for your attention. So I hope that it was worth your while, that you learned something, that you can apply something that you learned here right away. If you do, I can assure you that it will help your parenting life go better. If you did find this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you shared it, if you commented on what was useful to you. If you have a question, you can ask that as well. Let's be there for one another. I'm here for you. And I wish you a wonderful, wonderful, peaceful parenting journey. And keep your eye out for video number 2. It will be in your inbox just very, very soon.